Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your 2020 forecast. Taurus, I am excited to do this reading for you, mainly because of the themes that are coming through for this year. And I've taken down some notes. I've been preparing to do these readings for a couple of weeks, and I love it when I get synchronicity coming through, such as this card. But before I get started, I just wanted to let you know that this year is going to be a year for you that desires flexibility, a willingness for change, and if you can do that with grace and your head held high, then you are going to have some really cool, successful moments, Taurus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight stuck into it because there's a lot to get through. I've already pre-shuffled your cards and laid them out for the year ahead. For those that haven't seen the channel, you'll know that I do them for 6 months. So I go January through to June and then July through to December with one trump card as the main energies for each 6-month period. The cards that I use are a very spiritual deck called Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and they tend to be quite in-depth and spiritual. So I'm using my fantastic Waite deck to qualify and get further detail for us as well. But let's talk about the astrology, because my goodness, what a year. Firstly, I think it's really important for you to understand that this year is going to be a great year of inspiration, of upheaval and change. You know, with great change there comes a lot of rebirth, and you have that card here of death and rebirth coming up close to your birthday, Taurus. So it doesn't surprise me that as you get into your birthday month that you're shedding your skin and beginning anew, because at the moment with Uranus in your chart, that's what it's asking you to do. This year is really going to be about recognizing your true and inner talents, okay, Taurus? For a lot of you, you've been taking a little bit of a back seat when it's come to putting yourself forward, whether that be for the rest of your family, whether that be for loved ones. It's a whole range of different reasons. But this year, it's really about pulling and pushing you into a new life. It's about a whole new universe, okay? You're going to be learning about taking new risks and putting yourself out there. That's the best way I can explain it. Your ruling planet Venus, it's going to be in Gemini, and it's going to retrograde this year. It retrogrades May 12th to June 24th. That's a really important time for you, because in that period, you are going to really give up the opportunity about what it is that I truly love and want into life. Like, you're going to really give in and ask yourself and reevaluate what it is that you truly love and want in life. And for some of you, that could mean an epic change when it comes to matters of the heart and who you are currently connected to or wish to stay connected to. And for a lot of you, it's more about questioning yourself. Are you getting what you need from your physical and financial self? Like, are you actually happy with what you want? A lot of you will be questioning, is this what I really want? Separate from what you have and who you are. So it's kind of like, yeah, this is who I am, this is my identity now, but is this who I'm going to be? Is this who I'm going to become? Yes, I'm a wonderful mother. Yes, I'm a great father. Maybe I'm a good friend, whatever it may be for you. But it is very much about revision, actually going back and building new foundations for yourself so that you can get a new surge of energy. And I see it coming here through for you, Taurus. It's really quite beautiful. You have the card of faith, and your keywords for this year are faith, hope, and optimism. So the fact that that's come up is just fantastic. It's showing me that everything's as it should be. And when I've been meditating on your sign and I was really quite calm for you, because it was showing me that the way forward was clearly lit. It was like a really beautiful, bright path. It's really important that you understand with Uranus in your sign, people might think you've gone a little cray-cray. So what do I mean by that? You could be feeling far more attuned to all things esoteric. You could be feeling far more attuned to wanting to create and do things from a spiritual place or from a really heart based place. And, you know, sometimes people who are not on the same wavelength, or I like to call it vibration, don't quite understand where we're coming from and can tend to question us and our thoughts and motives. But for you, I want you to remain strong, because it's really important for you to go through this period in order to purge and come through new. Saturn's in Capricorn, and it's giving you this kind of, you know, Capricorn's your sister sign. It's giving you this kind of awareness that you need, you know, about security. It's like your internal compass. Am I happy where I'm at? Am I happy in this job? Do I feel safe and comfortable here? Do I feel safe and comfortable within this family dynamic even? And it's really going to question you and ask you to let go of anything that weighs you down, anything that creates you anxiety, that creates insecurity. This year it's all about building that base, building a new life, and anything that's causing you insecurity and anxiety, those kind of things. And you know what it is when I'm talking to you, Taurus. You know straight away. You'll go, yep, that's what it is, or that's the person, or that's what it is. You've probably been in denial about it for a little while. Well, this is the year where you're going to make a commitment to yourself to purge that energy, okay? The advantage for you, Capricorn being your sister sign, is that Capricorn is going through a massive transformation this year. There are currently 5 planets in Capricorn, and in February, March, you're going to have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn as well. So being your sister sign, it pawns harmonious energy into you. But what does that all mean? January 12th, you've got Uranus going direct for the first time in a very long time. It's basically a reset for you on this date. It's a new 37-year cycle, okay? And it's in the area of what you believe, your spirituality, kind of talked about that before, long distance travel, and I can see that coming up for you right away here. Publishing, sales, marketing, it's all in harmony with your planets in Taurus. So you can expect a lot of expansion in these areas for you straight off the bat as we come into January. And you know, the tarot cards don't lie, they match that up perfectly as well. But really for you, the big moment I want you to focus on is when Venus goes retrograde, and we talked about that already. That's your ruling planet, and that's May 12th to June 24th. Mark those dates in your calendar. It's going to be a time for you of reflection, and there's a bit of stagnant energy here, so I'll talk about that in a moment. You could have more than one relationship taking your attention, Taurus. And I've been alluding to that in the weekly readings with your energy coming through, that someone could be catching your eye. If you're in a committed relationship or a marriage, just be aware of that, because that's a big, strong theme coming through for you. And if you're single, it could be more than one suitor. And I see them both side by side coming in to try and get your attention, Taurus. I'll talk about that more as I go into the deep read and do the love reading for you. And this is the extended reading at the end. But for now, I really want to focus on what's coming through from a general career life aspect. We have 6 eclipses this year. Can you believe that? It's absolutely massive. We have before we even get into 2020, there's a solar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn. Now, this is massive. It's just after Christmas for some of us. It's on Christmas, but 26th of December. And for you, it's really lighting up an area of your chart that you're trying to let go of, you're trying to move away from, okay? What's interesting is that as you come into January, this January 10th or 11th new moon in Cancer, it's going to be a lunar eclipse that's all about teaching, writing, speaking, short distance travel. For some of you, I think you've been wanting to become teachers in your field or your chosen field. For a lot of you, I feel like you have been wanting to pass on your knowledge, or you've been feeling an urge to pass it on, and you are so full of wisdom, Taurus. There is so much you can do. I just think sometimes you're your own worst enemy who stands in the way. But this lunar eclipse on January 10th, it's going to open a lot of doors for you. Add in January 12th, you've got Uranus going direct in your sign. I think that is in 3 degrees of Taurus. So you're going to have a lot of focus on you in the first month of the year, okay? The next eclipse that we have is in Sagittarius, and that's in June. That's on June 5th, 16 degrees Sagittarius. And for you, this lunar eclipse, again, it's the lunar eclipse, is all about intimacy, partners, your partner's resources, other people's money, shared resources, the deep mystery of yourself. It's mainly about your dollar houses, okay, and you trying to review how you make money in this world. And I can see that here for you in June going into July. The cards are showing me quite clearly. So you'll be looking at those themes and kind of trying to have a review of self and have a review of where you've been and where you're going. At the end of the June, so we have 2 eclipses in the same month. June's pretty hectic. On the 21st of June, on solstice, either summer or winter, depending on where you're located in the world, we have a solar eclipse at 0 degrees of Cancer. Flat short, this is all about how you communicate. So you can kind of see the theme here. On one hand, you've got your teaching, writing, speaking, communication abilities flipped with you researching your spirituality and really trying to understand what that means to you and how that's evolved, because it has evolved, Taurus. I mean, that's why you're with me now watching this video. But for you, that's going to be the kind of flip all year. And that's what you're leaving behind after that Capricorn solar eclipse that was in this December in 2019. And the final one for you will be in July, and July 5th. That will close out that portal for you. The one about spirituality, long distance travel, basically your truth. It's like think of it as a graduation time, like a step up, that you're actually going to be seeing things as they really are rather than what they have been. It's like you're going to have this veil lifted and you'll be able to go, oh, that's why I think that, or that's why I believe that, or that's why I feel that. Some of you are very tangible. You have, like, you could feel spirituality, or you could feel spirit with you. As we come into the second half of the year, and I won't focus it too much in this reading because there's a lot to get through, we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Gemini. So this is when the North Node leaves Cancer on the 4th of June and enters Gemini on the 5th of June. That's quite significant because we're changing from this earth sign modality into this air sign energy. And I'll talk about that a bit more in a second. But for you, like I said, it's closing out this confusion about your spirituality. It's closing out confusion about who you want to be, about publishing, sales, marketing, teaching, that kind of thing. It's closing out that door. And it's opening up the door of the area or the house for you about what you love and value, okay? And it's really interesting because this lunar eclipse for you at 9 degrees Gemini, which happens on November 30th, comes after the Venus retrograde. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because obviously the Venus retrograde happens in the sign of Gemini. So it's almost like you go through this area or this phase of revision. And when I say that, Venus rules love, beauty, money, passion, sexuality, a whole range of things. But it's like you're revising that in the middle of the year. You're going back and going, is this what I really want? Is this who I really want? Is this the kind of life I want to live? And by the time you come to that lunar eclipse in November, you could be phasing someone out for good. And that's where you're asked to have faith and trust in divine timing, my dear Taurus. It's really interesting because following this eclipse, it's like doors are just going to open up to you to money, new money coming in, new talents are going to come in. And by the time you get to the final one of the year, that's a solar eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius, it's in an area of your chart. What's it at 23 degrees Sag? It's in an area of your chart that's all about other people's value, you know, their money, their resources, but it's about, and particularly your partners as well. So for some of you, if you are looking to separate or move away from your partner, it could be about a settlement or a final check coming through to you. That would be around November, at the end of November 2020. And for others of you, it's about really understanding that you're preparing for a new life and career, and you need the necessary steps to make it happen. So you need the money to make it happen, right? And that's just going to come to you, which is quite cool. What's interesting is that the North Node will shift into Taurus January 20th, 2022. So at the moment it's in Cancer, It's then going to head to Gemini, and then Taurus, you get the North Node in your sign, January 20th, 2022. I know that's 2 years away from now, but it's important to understand that all this shift and change, all of this stuff that's coming in to change up your life is happening for a reason, because it's preparing you for a massive year in 2022. I mentioned to you before that your key words were all around flexibility, willingness, grace, faith, hope, and optimism. If you can handle changes this year, Taurus, and go with the flow, which is not like you, my little stubborn bulls, it's quite hard for you to go with the flow when it comes to things like this. And, you know, change is difficult sometimes, particularly when it comes to our most intimate relationships or our career choices and family. But if you can handle the change, and it is coming for you, Taurus, then you will be inspired to bring in this new life. Finally, at the end of the year, we have Saturn and Jupiter connecting in Aquarius. This is quite significant because I just want to have a look at my notes. I wrote it down for you. Yeah, Saturn enters Aquarius on the 18th of December, and then Jupiter follows in Aquarius on the 19th of December. Both planets, they're major planets, right? Coupled together at 0 degrees on the 21st of December. This is very significant. It's all about a new 20-year cycle for you, okay? It's all about starting a new 20-year cycle. It's all about building a new 20-year cycle, and really changing who you are. What's interesting is that some of you could be getting married this year, right? So that's what I mean by changing who you are. It's like a leveling up of your status. You could be literally transforming your place in the world. Some of you could be ending marriages to get in new relationships, and some of you could just be beginning new ones. But this exact 0 degree coupling of these two planets that happens in December is epic for all of us. The reason being is that not only is it heralding a new 20-year cycle in the year of 2020, but it's literally about the death of one way of being and one type of world and moving into another. It is quite simply the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So, you know, you would have heard a lot of astrologers talking about this. What does that mean for you? It's basically what you do and your wealth in the world are no longer going to be enough, okay? You're going to be asked to question, what is your contribution to humanity? What are you building, and in what way are you serving others? It's more than just what we have, you know, and this is the beginning of a new 200-year cycle. A lot of astrologers are referring to this as the great mutation year, because we're literally transforming ourselves, transforming others, and leveling up as we do so. You can expect a lot of focus on intellectual development, and that's where you play a key part, Taurus, because you are wanting to become the teachers of the zodiac. You have several cards here showing me that you want to be the mentors and the scholars coming through. It's going to be a very epic year, okay? It's going to be a year of great change, of lots of expansion. There is going to be some challenging points, and I can see that here in the cards for you, as well as a lot of upheaval. And like I said, Taurus, if you can just hold your head high and know that it's all happening for the greater good, and pull yourself out of the day-to-day mundane tasks, which is not easy, then you're going to be able to rise above it. And by rising above it, I mean really coming out and devoting this year to yourself, devoting this year for your personal growth, for your chance to release anything that restricts you or prohibits you from growing into the person that you need to be, about devoting your time to yourself and your growth so that you can recognize your true and inner talents. And my gosh, Taurus, when was the last time that you did that? So, my darlings, this year is aptly named Devotion, because it all is all about devotion to self, to new beginnings, to starting anew, and I'm really excited to tell you what's going to happen. So, let's get stuck into the cards. I do apologize, the sun is setting right at this very moment. It's absolutely gorgeous. We are 1 day away from the new year, or 2 days technically, as I'm filming this for you. And I'm doing it right as the sun is setting. So bear with me. I'm about to qualify your cards and draw some extra guidance with the traditional Rider-Waite, and that couldn't be more apt as I cut the deck for you. Decisions, choices, change. So bear with me as I'm just going to shuffle the board around so that we can focus on the first 6 months of the year for you and see what's coming in. Are you excited? I'm excited for you. It's going to be epic. Okay. Universe and angels, messages and guides, my higher self, I call upon you now to give me a clear and accurate reading for the sign of Taurus. Please tell me what they need to hear, not what they want to hear for the year ahead. Spirit, please show me one card for each month, January through to June. Thank you. It's quite funny actually that you get that. It's like, what? Tell me, what does that mean? Beautiful. The sun is setting on one end of an era. That's very timely as well. Another card for March, please. Thank you so much. Boom. April. May. And there is June. Okay. So you start off with your overarching energy being that of the King of Air. Now, the King of Air is the King of Swords, right? Is a very intelligent, worldly king. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. They tend to be more spiritual than people give them credit for. They can come across as quite cutting with their words sometimes, very sarcastic and witty, but yet they have incredible hearts once you kind of crack through that shell. This is the energy that you're carrying yourself as you go into this 6 months. It's almost like, no more bullshit. No more coming second. No, sorry, not doing it that way anymore. That kind of attitude. And that's amazing, Taurus, because it's not done in a arrogant way. It's done in more like a sassy way. Like, yeah, girl, I've got to get me some kind of way. Do you get what I mean? It's like, it's my turn. I'm stepping up. I'm devoting this year to myself. And I can see that play out in your cards. So with that kind of overarching energy in your first 6 months, it's no surprise that you have the Ace of Swords coupled with the Eight of Wands. So beautiful. You start off the year with an ace. Perfect. What better energy could you have? This is all about getting clarity about certain situations, about who you are, about what you want to be. And it's no surprise that Uranus is in Taurus on the 11th of January. So this is giving you that big boost. It's asking you to dig deep and ask these questions. And for once, you're finally getting answers, like you're going within. A lot of you, and I know this from the personal readings that I've done this year and the astrology, a lot of you have felt very lost this year, you know, going, do I want this? Am I going this way? Am I being a good parent? Am I being a good lover? Do I even want to be a lover to this person anymore? Do I want a lover? Do I not want a lover? Do I want to travel? It's been very wishy-washy for you this year, and it's because you've been challenged to kind of shed and let go anything that's not serving you. And one of the hardest things for you to do is just that, because you're so loyal. When you love Taurus, you love deeply. And even when someone screws you over, you still love them. It's like a sweet, gooey caramello koala. For those that don't know what it is and don't live in Australia, it's like a particular type of chocolate that we have that's shaped in like a koala bear with a gooey center. No, we don't eat koalas. It's a chocolate. Don't write in the comments. But I think it's really interesting that you have that persona. And this year, it's just like you're stepping out of that. You're really stepping into your own. Like I said, you're devoted to figuring out who you are, what your beliefs are, and how that's going to carry you forward. January is a month of clarity for you. and lots of communication. For those that are single, and I will talk about this more in the love reading and go into a lot of in-depth reading for you, but you will be getting a lot of attention in January, okay? For those that are in committed relationships, you could have contact from someone outside of your marriage, outside of your connection, that comes back through to kind of shake things up. We do have 3 Mercury retrogrades this year, and the first one's in February. So as fast as someone comes in, I feel like they're taken out. But just know that there'll be a lot of sexy communication. If you're in a happy, committed relationship and things are going well, then this is a lot of communication with things to do, practical things about your place in the world, what it is that you're actually trying to achieve, how you're going to achieve it. Do you feel me? That kind of thing. A lot of communication, a lot of text. But that card, traditionally, the 8 of Wands, is known as Cupid's arrows of love. So be aware, my dear Taurus. For some of you, it could be the sparks of something new, but I don't see that actually getting off the ground until March. February. It's really interesting because you have the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. Interesting combination. Now, firstly, I just want to tell you, when I was shuffling the cards, you pulled 3 8s. You've got the 8 of Water, the 8 of Cups, you've got the 8 of Swords, and you also have the 8 of Pentacles. The only 8 you don't have is the 8 of Wands. And then here it is here in this deck coming in. So you have all 4 8s. 8s are karmic numbers. They're all about what you give out, you get back. It's the infinity symbol, right? So it plays a lot to do with law of attraction, mindset, that kind of thing. I might put a link below in the description bar so that you can read up on what 8 means and what it does mean for you. But it's important to know it's going to have a significant effect for you and what's coming up this year. 8 of Cups coupled with the 10 of Swords. This is typically a card I see of moving on. This is a card that I see when someone emotionally disconnects. Now, you may be in a relationship, a partnership. It may not even be sexual in nature. It could just be a friendship. But someone who's pushed you too far, you tend to cut the ties with, or you're going to cut ties with in February. It's like you've had enough. They've taken advantage of your good nature and your generosity one too many times, and it's like you're like, no, I'm done. I'm not going through this cycle again. And good on you. Finally, stand up for yourself, because no one else is going to do it. If you want to be treated differently with respect, Taurus, and I mean that to anyone in any kind of relationship, if someone's not giving you what they need, then change it. Change the dynamic. Stand up for yourself and tell them. Say, sorry, you're not giving me what you need, and I'm disappointed in that behavior, and I'm done. And you're more than okay to do that and put a boundary in place for yourself. In fact, I even recommend it and encourage it. If you don't know what I'm talking about I did a fabulous video recently on energy clearing and space clearing. I'll put a link at the end. But this is a great way for you to go through and purge and release anything that is holding you back, including emotional relationships. The 8 of Cups can also signify physically moving. I said that to you this year, that it's going to be a big a review about your base and what brings you joy. So if your home, if your current heart space, or where you're at, the sacred space that you call your home, is currently not fulfilling you, it's currently feeling more like this, then you're going to make a change in February. And perhaps you don't actually make the physical move in February, because I see that further out down here, but you start looking, or you put the house up, or maybe you and your partner decide to go separate ways because there's someone else, and then you start looking for a short-term accommodation. What's really interesting is I talked about the fact that you had 3 8s and now confirming 4 with the other deck, but you also have a lot of 10s, and 10s are about the cycle of completion. In order to transform and step into a new, in order to actually get what you want when it comes to your physical space, when it comes to your financial bank account, whatever it is that you're desiring, you need to let some things go. 10 of Wands here speaks about reaching the end, reaching a limit. It's in the month of March, so we do have a Mercury retrograde coming to completion on the 9th of March, but I think mainly for you, this is about work, okay? This is about getting to the completion or ending a cycle when it comes to who you are and what it is that you do in the world. And it's not surprising that you're doing that just before we come up to the Venus retrograde in your birthday month. 10 of Wands coupled with the Ace of Wands is a beautiful combination. I want you to know that as soon as you're ending something, you're beginning something brand new. So if you are thinking about leaving a workplace, starting something new, maybe even for some of you, you're thinking about starting a business. You know, I said this year is going to be a year of hope and optimism and inspiration. I feel like you'll be starting something new in March. You'll get the green light. It's almost like as if it's always been there, but like they're showing me a blindfold. It's like the blindfold's taken off and you can see clearly now and you know how to progress. Does that make sense? It's like you go, I don't need that anymore. That's not what I need in my life. Now I'm moving forward. Just know whatever ends in March, if it starts at the beginning of the month and you're feeling a little bit forlorn, you're feeling a little bit low and depressed and you want to wrap yourself up in a doona and become a burrito on the couch, which is perfectly okay too. Just know that something new is coming in its place and starting straight after it, okay? And it's both wands, it's both fire, creativity, passion. Absolutely beautiful, Taurus. You know, for a sign that is going through a lot of change and upheaval this year, you have a lot of beautiful gifts from the universe. You've already got 2 aces and we're only in the first quarter of the year. Okay, April. Death and rebirth. Bum, bum. Okay, don't be freaked out. It doesn't mean a literal death. There are certain cards that I look for to give me that, and that's not what it means. This actually is speaking to the death and rebirth of yourself, of your soul. I kind of feel like I'm sounding a little bit like a broken record here, but it really is that kind of year. April is an epic month for you to purge and let go of things that aren't serving you. What's beautiful is that here you are, and this does represent the sign of Taurus, coming up trumps on this. So it's like shiny and new, brand shiny and new. And look at the coin. It's like the coin of luck and money. And I did say that to you, that this year there's a lot of opportunity for you to make money. You need to have your headspace right in order to do that, right? You need to know who you are and what you want. I do readings all year. I do most of my readings at Christmas. That's why I'm losing my voice. I connect with people from all parts around the world, and a lot of the questions I get are centered around similar things, like when am I going to meet my soulmate? What is my life purpose? The truth is that you need to decide what kind of life you want in order to attract those things in. I could tell you it's tomorrow. It ain't going to make any difference. If you haven't decided, Ali, I want to live in the countryside with 3 cows and have 2 kids. If you haven't come to that conclusion yet, if you don't know who you are and what you want to do in this world, and that doesn't mean knowing that you're going to become an astrophysicist or something, right? It means that you figuring out what makes you happy, what brings you joy, Taurus, just you on your own, without anyone else. You know, is it family? Is it material wealth and goods? Is it a house in the countryside, as I mentioned? That's the big question for you this year. You're really questioning, who you want to be. And that's why I've titled this video for you Devotion, because you're devoted to finding your true self. It sounds wanky, I know, I'm sorry, but it kind of is the truth. And that's what you're going to find in April. I feel like April is a month for you when we get to Easter, where it's kind of like you're reborn anew. And for some of you that follow the religious belief, it's perfect timing. It's like a rising from the dead. It's just beautiful. Spring for those in the northern hemisphere, and fall or autumn for us in the southern hemisphere. But it's going to be a pivotal turning moment for you, and you'll feel shiny by the end of the month. It's like, I know what I'm doing now. I know where I'm going. And as if you needed more confirmation that that's what's happening, boom, you have the card, the best, very best card in the entire deck that means yes, forward movement. And that's the card of the Chariot. Represents Cancer. But in May, you have the Venus retrograde going forward. So it's kind of like Venus retrograde happening on May 12th, but you are going forward because you've already made your decision about what you're doing. Now it's about time of actually going back and revising the plan. This is a fantastic card to get in the month of May. And ironically, you've drawn the Five of Earth, the Five of Pentacles. So the Venus retrograde for you could very much be focused on your money and creating more wealth. It's like, yep, I'm moving forward now. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm working towards and what I want. It's no coincidence that you've got the Five of Coins on the 5th month, right? Fives are all about change. So May is going to be a changing point for you. You may even restructure your finances. You may find someone from a financial accountant or someone that advises you, and then you get the plan. I know this person looks a bit like a court gesture / the devil, but they know what they're doing and they give you the idea or the structure and what it is to move ahead. If that is something that you've been looking at doing, if some of you are separating from partners and you've been wanting to get the go ahead so that you can move forward, please do look at professional help in the month of May, because I think you'll find just the right person that you need to be able to move forward and actually make those changes. So, June. You have the King of Fire, or the King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, coupled with the Knight of Swords. Wow, what conflicting energy. Fire and passion versus the fastest moving knight with the Knight of Swords here. It's like you're passionate and you're going for it. Hallelujah. This is amazing energy, and it comes in the month of June. So even though you've got that Venus retrograde there and it's asking you to really cut through the bullshit, cut and purge people that aren't helping you, it's like you've got a fire in your belly and you're going for it. There's no one going to stop you, okay? This is a fantastic energy combination. June's going to be quite a challenging month for most people because of those eclipses. We have that eclipse in Sagittarius, fire, and then we have one in Cancer, right, water. For you though, there's no stopping you. You've already done the hard work and the planning in these earlier months with Uranus coming back into your sign. And Uranus does retrograde for a short period, for a longer period in August 15th to January 14th, 2021. So up until that moment, use the energy and use it wisely. If there is a business that you're trying to get off the ground, if there is something that you're trying to plan, end of June looks fantastic for that. Summer solstice, winter solstice, June 21st, then onwards would be my recommendation. I feel like you will make a lot of money from it. The King of Fire, if this is your energy and you're embodying that energy, this is passion, this is sensuality, this is sexuality, this is charm, charisma, a whole range of different things. And look at that card. It's absolutely incredible. It's finding your inner tiger, finding your inner lion, your warrior, and going for it. Coupled with the best card of action you could possibly get, it's going to be a pretty intense month for you. And all the while remembering your overarching energy for the first 6 months is this, the King of Swords. The no bullshit kind of let's move forward. I'm even speaking faster as I'm reading for you. Okay, all right. Let's have a look at the second half of the year for you, because I think it's going to be a cracker. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, hello Eddie. Can I please have a card each on July through to December? Boom, there's your water sign. Cancer and Capricorn's really strong in this reading for someone that needs to know that, but they could be the North Node and the South Node. I did mention to you that that's moving in June into the sign of Gemini. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So, King of Cups and Three of Swords. July. We have another eclipse in July, and it's in the sign of Capricorn. Now, I said to you earlier, you've got an advantage because Capricorn's your sister sign, so it pours positive energy into you. This particular eclipse that happens on July 5th, you might want to mark that in your calendar, speaks to the area of your chart that rules, spirituality, long distance travel, sales, marketing, that kind of thing. Whatever happened for you around December 25th or 26th, and you'll know what it relates to, is coming to a completion with this eclipse. For some of you, it is ending a relationship. You have the Three of Swords here, which in traditional tarot, this is a much more prettier way of drawing this card, but it's shown as a heart with three swords in it. Someone could potentially be ending a marriage, ending a relationship, and wanting to start something new with someone that's more romantic. You have the King of Cups here. The King of Cups, unlike the King of Fire, that's all passion and charm and wit, the King of Cups is all soul and poetry and depth and anything that's to do with emotions. If you're not ending a connection with this person, then you could be ending a period of being single and beginning a new connection. And I'll delve deeper in that in the romance reading for you guys. But it's really quite interesting because you have three kings in this reading. You have the King of Air, you have the King of Fire, and you have the King of Cups. You're just missing the King of Coin, which would be like kismet if you did have it, because the Queen of Pentacles is here representing your sign. So for some of you, July is going to be the month where you move and shake things up when it comes to committed relationships, either ending a period of being single or beginning a new one where you're committed and marrying someone else. And I say that because you do have the card of marriage on the table here. It's about changing your identity, right? I think we've talked about that. It's about changing who you are, how you show up in this world. And July is a pivotal moment for you in that month. It's a pivotal moment. August. So remembering August is big too. So we have, we're coming out of Mercury retrograde in July 12th. And then when we come into August, we have Uranus going retrograde. Four of Swords and the Devil. So are you seeing the transition here? You go from the Three of Swords to the Four of Swords. Instant healing. It's like whatever happens for you, whatever upheaval happens for you, it's going to play out one of two ways, right? Because I'm reading for two bunches of Taurus and I need to give it to you both. Please use your common sense and apply it to whatever your personal situation is. If you are in a happy, committed relationship and you have not had any reasons to split, then I don't see this happening for you. This is for people that have been unhappy for some time and burying their feelings quite deep and pretending that everything's okay. Or on the flip side, people that have been single for quite some time. For some of you, you're committing to a partner in July, a brand new partner, and you're leaving heartbreak behind, and it's someone that's going to adore you, that's going to be enamored with you and you them, okay? It's a very romantic, gooey, lovey, please stop kissing each other on the train kind of energy, right? In August, you have the card of the Four of Swords. So if you're in that gooey headspace, it could be about taking a break, taking a holiday, traveling, and I do see that potential for you here. For others of you, it's ending a toxic relationship that's been toxic for some time and now finally starting to heal, okay? For some of you, it could be with a Capricorn, or for others of you, it's just about that feeling that you've been tied to someone. You could have felt tied to someone because of children. You could have felt tied to someone because of your financial situation, which I believe gets released in that first 6 months. Like by the time you get to May, June, I think your opportunities change and you're no longer tied to someone financially, which could be the reason why it gives you the courage to leave, adopt that King of Air kind of attitude of where you're like, you know what, I've stayed for so long for the kids, or I've stayed because I needed to finishing my studies or whatever it may be, and now I'm out of here. For a lot of you, August is going to be a month of rest and repair. And if it isn't, I want you to take this as a nice nudge to book something beautiful in for yourself, okay? The energy is going to be right for you to do a bit of reflection. And it's worthy of just taking a step back and actually taking a breather for yourself, okay? And for all the mums out there, that means without the kids. For all the single dads out there, same thing. And I don't mean stay at home, sit on the couch, watch Netflix and have a drink. I mean, go do something. Go take a mini break, go somewhere, go even stay overnight, even if it's you can't afford a hotel or whatever your financial situation is, go stay with a friend. I want you to get out of the space that you're in because it will be really cleansing for you, particularly if you can get somewhere by water. Right, September. September's where it all starts to lift. Now, it's interesting because we have Mars going retrograde September 9th to the 13th of November, which is a period of reassessing where we are in terms of our career. Now, you have two cards here. You have that Eight of Swords coming back, that feeling of being trapped again, and the card of Judgment. Two different readings here. For some of you that have ended a connection, this is your ex trying to come back, looking for a reconciliation. For others of you, this could be a job opportunity coming back that you thought had closed. You're going to feel trapped depending on which way it is. Almost like, do I take that opportunity? Do I not take that opportunity? Do I give this person another chance? Is that what I really want? And unfortunately, I wish I could wave my magic wand and say, this is what you do to make that feeling disappear. But you're meant to go through that process because, like I said, you're transforming, you're expanding, you're trying to grow into a bigger you. And it's important that you go through those challenging periods in order to actually figure out who you are. That's what this month is for you, okay? There's healing energy all around you, so don't worry, you're not going to be in this feeling of despair for long, but it could be a feeling of like melancholy and needing to hide under the blankets, or I just don't want to face this decision. I don't know what to do, so I don't want to face it. The best advice I can give you for how I handle that situation when things are going wrong is I tend to not push myself to make a decision. I try and journal it. Because often when you get your thoughts from your head out into paper, and I don't mean putting notes in your phone, I mean literally writing them out, you tend to see things a lot clearer, and it's almost like an instant release, particularly if you can't talk to someone about it. But give yourself time, okay? It's interesting in the illustration of this card of the Eight of Swords that how he's got one dagger in hand and one it's like drawing blood. It's really quite interesting, the balance. You will find the balance, my dear Taurus, and you will have a resurrection and you will make the right choice. Whatever it is for you, whether it be financial, whether that be in a romantic sense, it could even be family or friends, but I'm really getting the other two. Then coming into the last half of the year, we have the Eight of Pentacles coupled with the Five of Swords. The Eight of Pentacles speaks about mastering your skill set or working on your skill set to become the master, right? You're not quite at Nine of Pentacles where you have wish fulfillment. And even though we've talked a lot about a lot of opportunity that's coming through, you can see quite clearly for yourself as an earth sign, you don't have a lot of pentacles on the table. This is your main pentacle card and it comes for you in October. This shows all the hard work, everything you've been working towards, be it a promotion, be it a career change, be it studies, whatever it is to level you up is coming to a point in October. You could have a lot of competition in your field, so you could be going for a promotion or looking to expand your business and there's a lot of competition out in the market. This is really trying to give you the message saying that you will be victorious, but be very careful on how you win, okay? Remember I said to you that this was a year about flexibility, being nimble, being able to go with the flow and change, and there is so much change here, Taurus. Almost every single quarter, you're changing something within your life, and there's a reason for that. But with this situation, I want you to know that whatever the challenging thing is that comes up for you in October, and for a lot of you, I think it's to do with money, a separation, a divorce, money from a grant that's owed to you, sponsorship, something like that. You're going to have to fight for it and you will win. Just try and do it with grace, okay? Just try and do it with grace. Just think to yourself, how can I handle this situation and do it so I look like I'm doing it in a graceful way and not in an angry fit of rage. Not that you're prone to that. I mean, come on, we're all human, right? But be very careful because it could mean that you lose out. November. I love November for you. Look at this card combination. The card of faith and the card of commitment, of security, of a happy home. I mentioned to some of you that this could be a year where you get married, where you commit to your partner. Some of you definitely have weddings coming up, because it's a year where you change your identity. You're no longer the person that you once were. And if you are, I want you to know that the person that you're committing to is very much on the same spiritual plane as you. Like, you know how some people, they get married and they do it because they want to be married and have a partner and they're lonely and whatnot, but they don't, their partner doesn't really get them. And then you see other couples where it's like they just almost morph into the same person, like they're on the same spiritual plane. This is kind of it for you. This is someone that really sees you for who you are, is on the same page, spiritually, religiously, whatever it may mean for you. And I've told you that's important to you this year because it's a big focus on your spirituality. It's devotion to rediscovering your true self. If you have handled this year well, November's going to be magic for you, okay? You have this beautiful card of faith, of it all kind of coming together, of knowing that what you're working towards is going to hit a pinnacle. And it's coupled with the card of the Four of Wands. For some of you, you will move house. For some of you, you'll move in together with your partner. For some of you, you'll commit and go to a higher level of commitment. And for some of you, this could represent finally getting that promotion or award or leveling up. It's about changing your foundation and your base, okay? And the reason why this is happening in November is because it's trying to level you up and prepare for what's coming in December. Remember, I said it's that massive epic collision of Jupiter and Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius at 0 degrees, which is heralding the new age, the new dawn. It's the age of Aquarius. And that's what December is for you. There's your card of Scorpio, of death, of rebirth. Again, repeating message from where it is here. You go through 2 deaths this year, Taurus. Now, anyone who would just pause the video and open that at that point would go, what the hell is she talking about? But if you've been following, you'll go through 2 deaths and 2 rebirths. One in April, and I feel like it's a lot to do with relationships, shedding your skin, shedding certain friendships just before you get into that Venus one. If it's not, it'll be work for you. And then the one in December will be about that for relationships. But it's really interesting because you have the card of love with death here. This is past life connection. This is sweet, innocent love. This is someone that smells familiar. You hug them and it feels like home. It's that kind of zap kind of connection. It's rare and it's coming for you. I mean, you have, look at this. You have the Lovers coupled with the Four of Wands. That is absolutely stunning, Taurus. Happy home, happy family, commitment, someone committing to you, you committing to them, being on an even playing field. It's what you've been looking for all year. It's what I've been saying to you, that you're going to go through that process of, does this serve me? Is this the kind of life that I want? Is this the sex life that I want? And for some of you, it ain't, right? Is this the kind of intimacy that I want? Do I need to be cuddled more and touched and held more? And does this person bring it in for me? Whatever your situation is, you're going to make a change and you'll never turn back. It's that epic. And just as I say that, I was struggling to get the words out. So it's just showing you how much of a change is coming through. But you will be making a change in December, and it will be one to do with a romantic nature. And you're either leaving something behind for good and stepping into a brand new you, or you're committing to someone for the very first time. Absolutely gorgeous. And what's interesting is, if I needed a card to trump it all, because I know that you are following me, you have the card of thought. Right? That's what the second half of the year is. It's all about devotion to yourself, to figuring out how you can live your very best life, and thinking about what serves you, what brings you happiness, what will give you the most joy. And you know, who cares what it is, as long as it brings you happiness, as long as it brings you fulfillment. Are you with me? So let me recap, because it's a pretty epic year. January through to March is going to see some changes, okay? You're going to be revising who you are and what you do when it comes to career sense. I really feel like for some of you, you could be completing a cycle, it's a very karmic year for you, closing out some past life loves, drawing in a past life love, shedding your skin. There's a brand new career opportunity, either a new job, you're ending one cycle, beginning something new when it comes to March. April will see you reborn. You'll just feel on fire. And you know, typically in our birthday month the sun comes in, Venus aligns, and we're feeling like we're looking our best selves. You're going to have a fun month in April. Expect a lot of celebration. You're just going to be kind of glowing. May is going to be a challenging month for most because of the planetary alignments and Venus going retrograde in your sign. Even though it's important that Venus is going retrograde, you've now got the plan, you're now moving forward, you now know what you want. It's like you have this re-energizing moment and then you go, that's it. That's where I want to live, or that's what I want to do. It's just suddenly becomes very clear. Almost for some of you, like you wake up from a dream and it's like just so clear cut. Then there's no stopping you. June is an action-packed month. You have fire energy, you have sword energy, you're just going for it, right? You're putting plans into action, and I think that's fantastic. July could be a moment where either you are caused heartbreak, someone leaves you, or you leave someone, and it's around those eclipses. Remember, following the June 5th and 21st eclipse, and then coming into July 5th. So it could happen in either of those months for either of you. You could be leaving a fire sign and going to a water sign, or vice versa, because I see this rushing into this energy. Or you could be leaving a water sign and going to a fire sign. There is a Capricorn here as well, and I think that's really important to note. Capricorn, Cancer, fire and water. But definitely you could have two options and you could be leaving one for the other. August and going into September is all about healing and kind of having a rebirth of yourself again, like a mini rebirth. And then you start to come into your very best quarter of the year as we enter in the age of Aquarius, and the North Node shifts into Gemini. You're going to feel a lot lighter, and then you're going to draw in this beautiful past life love. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's a bit tough going. It's almost like a push-pull kind of thing. And you will feel like a little bit of a yo-yo with your emotions. So meditate as much as you can, and I feel like it'll pull you through. All right, my lovelies, what an incredible year. I'm going to draw for you one card from the spiritual deck for you before I go, and then I will click over to do your extended love forecast. I will go one card each for each month. It's ironic that I cut it at the Night of Trees, so Earth sign, and break down month by month and go into a deeper forecast for you with what's coming in for love. But for now, let's get you one card to close out the reading for your spiritual message for 2020. Thank you, Spirit. Can I please have just one card for Taurus? What's the most important message that they need to know? Didn't pop, so I'm going to leave it until it pops out. No. That one. I know it didn't seem like it, but it did. You're like, you're crazy, Ali. Remember, I told you, people are going to think you're crazy this year too. They're going to think you're cray-cray. Because you're going on a spiritual plane. Da, 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 da. Oh, it's deep. Are you ready? Time. You are a ray of light beyond time and space. When you choose to focus your attention upon the earth plane, you create a physical body to experience manifestation. Time is a way to measure manifestation so you can fully appreciate the experience of the physical. In oneness, you are a ray of light. Awaken to your fullness, no longer limited by the perception that you are in dense form only. You are a light immersed into creation, free to move through all planes of existence to a stillness of no time. Close your eyes and be fully present. Feel yourself in no time, one moment flowing to the next, a chain, a link that contains all you need to move you to the next moment. Time becomes flexible. It pulses, collapses, and expands, and it all occurs simultaneously. In this elastic state, new concepts, ideas, inventions, and alterations are readily available to you. Open your heart and feel. From this moment, no longer will you make fear Instead, you will make love, and time will incrementally show you the manifestations of that love. Boom! How beautiful is that? It's what I was saying. In time, this beautiful, great love is coming. And I'm telling you, this is kind of soulmate, kismet, twin flame energy. And it's funny because Aries had a very similar reading in that assets for these 2 months as well. So some of you could be dealing with a fire sign with an Aries. But if you just know and go with the flow, right? If you have grace, know that love's coming for you, Taurus. A year of devotion to self, and I couldn't be happier for you. That was your reading for 2020. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel more than you know. As I said to you, I will be doing an extended read for love. You can find the link in the description bar below. Otherwise, I wish you much love and light. Have a fantastic new year. Be safe and take care.